Hello everybody, this is AG here, and it is Sprint Series night in America for the first time in April here in 2023, and we're already on our 9th race of the season here in the Wawa Sprint Series. We're excited for this one, our first true short track of the season for these guys here. For 32 laps around the world's fastest half mile, leading into Saturday's Krispy Kreme 500. Of course, the top 4 finishers here tonight will run in that race on Saturday. And definitely excited to see how this all plays out, because I worked on the I&I quite a bit to produce what will hopefully be a great race on Saturday. I know Bristol can be one of the more semi-automatic racetracks that we have in the game, but we're going to have some fun with it regardless, and join alongside Derek Campbell, so you know it's going to be fun. Of course, he'll be in the booth for the Cup race as well on Saturday. And Derek, it's only 20 drivers on this racetrack. We've yet to have a caution this entire season here in the Wawa Sprint Series. Do you think, considering the nature of this racetrack, we may get our first caution of the season here tonight?
Probably. It's a short track, you know. It's the closest thing to a bull ring we got on the schedule, I'd assume. And, well, short tracks, you know, tight racing, beat and bang, and sometimes that breeds a caution.
Just going to have to see if that ends up coming into effect. Of course, next week we're at Martinsville, too, so that's another place where we could see that. But considering how fast these guys go around this bull ring half mile, there's a possibility we could end up with a yellow flag. The one thing I will say, even though we've not had a caution yet this season, if we do get a yellow flag, it'd be a traditional length of a caution. This track is too short for the 2-lap caution period that we have had set on for all the races so far this season. But you guys haven't seen that yet because we haven't had a caution yet here in the Wawa Sprint Series. In the points standings, Jim Vincent-Leff has done an excellent job this season. He doesn't start too well here today, though, so we'll have to see how that affects him. But he is the points leader by 5 points ahead of Sam Oskin. Trey Bartow, 9 points behind. All 3 of those guys have been in every race so far this season. Benny Moore starts on the pole here for today's event. He's 25 points behind, and then Avery Alford, 28 points behind. Of course, the maximum amount of points you can receive in a race is 24 points. I think that is the number, and I'm pretty sure I'm accurate about that. So Vincent-Leff, Oskin, and Bartow have a full race, or Vincent-Leff, I should say, has a full race point lead on everyone beyond the 3rd position in the points standing. So Vincent-Leff has done an excellent job this season. We have ourselves now 5 guys who have been in every race this season, not to be confused with the burger chain, but Cameron Lassard not in today's event. He's one of the 6 drivers coming into this race who has been in every race so far this season, but he's not in this one here tonight. We'll then get you the starting lineup. We got Benny Moore there in the 96. Great to see him back. Of course, he was in last week's race as well. He missed out on Circuit of the Americas, but 4th in the points alongside Avery Alford, who's 5th in the points, right behind Benny Moore in the standings. Alford there driving for Triad Racing. We got row number 2, the 45 is Skylar Taylor, and then alongside him is the 74, of course, of Joe Rutkowski, who's been consistently driving there for Appalachian Motorsports, and Trey Bartow in the 80s, been consistently driving for NS Racing here as of late, alongside Philip Torres in the 85. Starting to see a pattern, some drivers sticking to their rides as the season goes along. Sam Oskin, though, is in the 83 this weekend. Of course, he won last week at Texas in the Sprint Series. He's to the inside of the 78, driven by MJ Williams. We got the 4, that's Chase Harris, his 2nd start of the season there, driving for Tiny Fury Motorsports, and he's to the inside of his teammate Jim Vincent-Leff, who's the points leader coming into this race. Got the number 40 machine, Bruno Diacomo, and then the 60, first ever start for Angel Gutierrez in the 60 machine for Andrews Racing. Dale Johnson, the 2nd in the 00, Luna Lona in the 05. We got the 56 of Keith Drake for the 2nd straight week. 75 this week is driven by Emily Bull. We got the 01 of Tyreek Hartman. The 77 is Cole Raymond. 33, Micah Knapp. Great to have Micah back behind the wheel of a stock car. Been a while since he's done that. He's in the 33 to the inside of the 7 of Priya McShane, her 2nd consecutive start of the season. We'll go ahead and get these guys to roll off. 32 laps, of course, no caution, or no pit stops, I should say. If a wreck does occur, we will have a caution for that. The cautions are turned on. Make sure everybody rolls off okay. And Derek, I know you know some of these names, but not all of them. Who do you think's going to get the race victory here at Bristol?
Well, I'm going to go with that Advanced Auto Parts car. I think that's 98.
96 of Benny Moore right there.
96.
Not a bad pick either. Benny Moore won the first race of the season, I believe, for this exact team in NS Racing at Homestead, so looking to move up there in the point standings. Of course, after the 20 race mark. The top 10 drivers in points lock their rides, and they will go for the championship in the last 10 races. And I know Benny Moore wants to be one of those drivers. And a win here today will help him out as we're green flag here at Bristol. The world's fastest half mile in the Wawa Sprint Series. Good jumps here on that inside lane. Now we did some changes on this I&I here at Bristol, and the inside lane is a little more dominant than it used to be, so you definitely want to be on that inside lane, but we'll especially see it in the Cup race on Saturday as the run goes along. The outside lane may be able to get a little bit of grip, but right now that's not the case as Ozkin slams the outside wall on the 83 machine. You see all those guys who got stuck in that outside lane, they have not been able to get anywhere. Tyree Cartman here to the inside of Joe Radikowski. That's the first side-by-side battle as Benny Moore able to pull right away in that number 96.
You seen the 83 of Cement Oskin there. He slammed the wall. I don't know if he got put 3 wide or what, but that was a terrible mistake on his part. But it looks like the car isn't any worse for wear as he's caught back up to the pack of cars above the Hornets that's back there for the
midway through the field. I don't know what position that is. I think that's 10th there for Tyree Cartman. As around, Chase Harris.
Chase Harris!
And I think we have just had our first caution of the season here in the Wawa Sprint Series.
You were talking about how you hadn't had a caution.
Yeah, well, and you said, now that you say that, right before we started recording, well, Benny Moore didn't want to see that because now he's going to have to fend off Skylar Taylor, Avery Alford here on this restart, and the restarts can definitely get interesting with it being single file. But there we go, our first caution of the season in the Wawa Sprint Series. Of course, no need to come down the pit lane for these drivers, so we'll go ahead and review the accident that brought out the caution here on lap number 6 here in the Wawa Sprint Series at Bristol. Well, you're going to see the 80 of Trey Bartow. This is where he accumulates his damage that you'll see when we get back to the restart. Just slid it up there. And I make mention later on in the race that this is reminding me a lot of Darlington. This guy's sliding up, hitting the outside wall. And Chase Harris. Wrong place, wrong time there. And the number 4 for Titan Fury Racing. Tough break for Chase because he could have definitely moved up into the top 4 and advanced on with where he was running, especially considering a lot of those guys who were still trying to figure their positions out had really lost a lot of ground from the top 10. But either way, everyone will still be able to continue a minor incident, but it is in fact our first caution of the season here in the Wawa Sprint Series.
Well, you see here, Trey Bartow slides the track into the outside wall, nowhere for Chase Harris to go. Alex did mention that this is like a Darlington type incident, and it is right. I've seen this incident play out at Darlington many, many times.
Yeah.
No, we are at Bristol, right?
Yeah, we're at Bristol. This is definitely Bristol, all right. And we'll be at Darlington about 5 weeks from now for the first of 2 races we're going there this year. Of course, one of my favorite tracks in the whole game is the original Darlington. But we got a good race shaping up here in the Sprint Series at Bristol. Benny Moore's your race leader. Let's see what he does on the restart here in the Wawa Sprint Series. We're back here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And our first caution of the season. Just about to complete here at the Bristol Motor Speedway as Chase Harris went around down the backstretch. So Benny Moore's led every lap so far, trying to close in on Jim Vincent-Leff, Sam Oskin, Trey Bartow in the points. Of course, Vincent-Leff has not been having as good of a run here today. Skylar Taylor, Avery Alford, Trey Bartow, and Bruno Diacomo, the top 5 as we get back to racing on lap 11 of 32 here at Bristol. And right there to the inside, Skylar Taylor's going to take advantage of the restart and move to the inside of Benny Moore for the race lead.
To the lead, Skylar Taylor in the 45 Valvoline Toyota.
Avery Alford there on the inside lane. Bartow is here as well, but that 45 starting to clear out ahead of this field, and that's good news for Skylar. As hard in the wall, Tyreek Hartman in the 0-1. These guys going side by side. They just don't quite have that grip on the outside lane, and you see Benny Moore falling back on the 96.
Yeah, you mentioned those I&I changes. You made the inside lane more prominent, which is something that you don't really see on NR Bristol too often. And I see there Bartow trying to catch up to that O2 machine.
Alford under fire here from Bartow in the number 80 machine. Of course, Trey Bartow's been doing an excellent job this season. Third in points, only 9 points behind. But he has yet to go to victory lane this season here in the Wawa Sprint Series. He's advanced on to many cup races, and he's in position to advance on to Saturday's Krispy Kreme 500. But right now, third behind Avery Alford, and Skylar Taylor's got a second on the field right now here for Trinity River Racing. Diacomo's got a shot on Bartow, and that might open the door for Benny Moore on the 80 machine as well. Great run for Diacomo here today. Full Frontal Motorsports hasn't had too good of a run here in either the Sprint Series or the Cup Series, but I'm sure they'd love to see one of their drivers advance on to Saturday.
Yeah, Full Frontal Motorsports, they've been having an abysmal year in the Cup Series. That much I know. See, now Bartow, high wide hammer, he's in the wall. Off of 4.
That reminds me a lot of Darlington in a way, where we get a lot of these guys to overshoot the corner and smash the outside wall. That's what we're seeing here in this race, and who knows, we'll probably see a lot of that on Saturday as well as Bartow continues to fall back. Benson left not with a good run in this one after pretty much being the class of the field. Only driver of the season to win multiple races in the Wawa Sprint Series. He's outside the top 10 right now there. And he's still going to be able to hold on to the points lead as he's ahead of the two guys directly behind him who can mathematically catch up. Bartow just continues to slide up there. I think he's damaged that car so much at this point that he just can't even keep it off the wall now. Such a tough break there for Trey Bartow. Tyree Carmen, Luna Lona, they're going to make it 3 wide here in the back of the field. And that was tight right there.
Man, this is getting really, really tight with Trey Bartow. That 80 car is just done.
Yeah. He was inside the top 4 not too long ago. Now he's pretty much at the back of the field. Almost in last place. Everyone's still on the lead lap. And Skylar Taylor out of here in the 45. And Skylar going for his first career win on the channel here today. We'll have to see if they can pull it off there. But, as long as they don't get a caution, I think we're good to go. Or at least they're good to go in the 45. But Avery Alford would love a caution. He's pretty much been second this entire race. Diacomo here in third would love to get a win. And then you got the 96 of Benny Moore trying to advance on into the Cup race. Kind of single file out up front. You got Emily Bull trying to make some moves here on the 7 machine of Priya McShane. Priya McShane started dead last in this race, and here she is in 7th now. So to move up that many positions on a short track in only 25 laps is pretty good. Unfortunately, she probably will not make it on into the Cup race. You got Micah Knapp as well, and Benny Moore to the inside of Diacomo for 3rd. And that might open the door for Dale Johnson, the 2nd, to get the last transfer spot.
I was about to say something. Micah Knapp, didn't he start in the last row of the grid?
He did. He started 19th for this race in the 33 machine there. How about Full Frontal Motorsports? They're 4th and 6th right now. Both of their cars doing an excellent job here tonight. Dale Johnson the 2nd, he'd love to get into this Cup race here for Cash Motorsports, trying to get to the inside there of Diacomo for the 4th position. That's the last transfer spot into the race. Diacomo struggling just a little bit as Benny Moore was able to get back around him there in the 96. Meanwhile, it's a 2-second lead for Skylar Taylor. And we're closing in on the point of no return here tonight in the Wawa Sprint Series. It's looking pretty good right now for Taylor to get their first career win on the channel. That's been a very common theme in the Wawa Sprint Series, these guys getting their first career wins. Alford and Benny Moore there still battling for 2nd. And Diacomo kind of holding on here as Mike and App looking to go for 5th here. Great to see Mike have a good run here tonight. Of course, he's in the booth with me a lot for the IndyCar Series, and he's showing what he's made of here in the stock cars.
And that old Aaron's Dream Machine, he's trying to get a top 5. I don't think he's going to be able to catch Johnson the 2nd, though, as he's under fire from Priya McShane.
Because both of those guys started dead last. Last row right there, and they moved up inside the top 10 very well. Well, another driver that's done a very well job here tonight is Skylar Taylor in the 45. And able to get that pass made off the restart there, and Benny Moore, and the first caution of the season, played into their favor really well. Here comes Avery Alford trying to hold on to this 2nd position. Benny Moore's got to be careful not to get stuck in that outside lane, but coming across the line, white flag in the air here at Bristol on the Wawa Sprint Series for Skylar Taylor. And Trinity River Racing trying to get another win here. Luna Lona won on this ride at Phoenix about 4 weeks ago. And Skylar Taylor's going to take it to victory lane now as well. Josh Williamson gets the owner's win at Bristol with Skylar Taylor, Avery Alford, Benny Moore, and Bruno Diacomo will be racing on Saturday in the Krispy Kreme 500 here at Bristol. interesting race right there. Now, the thing about Saturday's race, and I think the same could be said kind of from Coda going into the Cup race there. We're going to have a much longer race with twice as many cars on the racetrack, so it can definitely get a little interesting with these guys smashing the outside wall. Of course, in the Cup race on Saturday, we'll also have a competition caution midway through the race, so these guys can come down the pit lane and service their cars while not under green flag conditions, because green flag pit stops here at Bristol, they're not the best thing to do in the world. But Skylar Taylor's going to have an opportunity in that race. We'll have to see what they can do. Avery Alford, Benny Moore, and Bruno Diacomo advance on. And Derek, you're going to be in the booth with me and Caleb for Saturday's Krispy Kreme 500. How do you think that race is going to play out after what we saw here in the Sprint Series race?
Well, it is Bristol. We're probably going to see cautions like we see in the first ever caution Sprint Series, or this season, I should say. And, it's going to be interesting because there's double the cars on the track in the Cup Series, and the race is going to be, I would assume, at minimum, 3 times as long. So
4 times.
Never know. Oh.
125 laps, so going to be an interesting one on Saturday, no doubt about it, for the Krispy Kreme 500. And like I said, we'll have a cycle of pit stops, but no matter what, we will ensure those pit stops are under the yellow flag, because coming down the pit lane here under green is not the best thing. The entry point and the exit point are right with each other, and with the way these guys race on this racetrack, there's really not enough space for them to come on and off. They don't come down on one side like they do in real life under green flag. It's a full-length pit lane regardless if it's green flag or not. So that's the one downside of this track in the game. But regardless of the fact, it's going to be a very fun race on Saturday. Really don't know what to expect, but it's Bristol. It's been 3 years since we've done a Cup race here at Bristol as well. So definitely excited to see the Cup guys back here on the world's fastest half mile. And we'll have Derek and Caleb Rose in the booth for that one on Saturday. Congratulations to Skylar Taylor. Of course, we got signups for the next short track race right here in the Wawa Sprint Series at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time from Martinsville. That'll be another great one as well next Wednesday night. With Taylor, Alford, Moore, and Diacomo, they advance on. They'll be racing on Saturday. And all these other guys, they gained some points, so we'll have to see how those points stack up after the 9th race of the season. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Huge thank you to Derek Campbell for joining me here tonight, and we will see you guys on Saturday for the Krispy Kreme 500. I will see you guys later.